Good morning, afternoon, evening. Hello, people. Hello, animals. Hello, everyone, everything. What's going on? This is the Little Seal English Podcast. Before we get into the major details, number one, I have a survey out right now, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it. If you look in the description of this podcast, you should see there's a link to a Google form. And it's a survey just about the podcast and hoping I can get some ideas and better guidance on how to serve you better. So please check out the survey. Today's podcast is dedicated to Pileup, upAdd, and buildup. So 3 different phrasal verbs, some different collocations with up, I guess. And yeah, by the end of the podcast, you'll know some different things that pile up, some different things that add up, and some different things that build up, and how to use those in different contexts. Ladies and gentlemen and people and animals and whatever, thank you all. Let's learn some English. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at are some different collocations with pile up. So, pile up is a phrasal verb, and it can mean a few different things, but generally speaking, pile up means something gradually gets bigger, and bigger. And it's not necessarily used, generally speaking, in a positive way. So think about laundry. Do you ever let your laundry pile up, or do you stay on top of it? My wife has gone away for about 6 weeks. This is week number 3. And I've done a lot less laundry, obviously, because there's just one person here. But I'm also more inclined now to let it pile up longer than I normally would. So I feel that I don't need to let it pile up as much as it does. But because I'm lazy, the laundry piles up. And I'll wear a pair of socks that I don't normally wear, that aren't even the most comfy socks, just cause I have avoided tackling the laundry, which has piled up over the last, couple of days, weeks, or whatever, months, years. Hopefully not years, folks. But can you imagine, just in the corner of your room, every time you're going to bed, you just take off your top, you take off your pants, you take off your socks, and you just throw them in the corner, and your laundry piles up in the corner. Isn't that just so common? So in your house right now, has laundry piled up? Has it gradually increased over the last couple of days or weeks or something like that? If so, you need to get on top of it. So there's the first collocation is laundry. Laundry piles up. Laundry will pile up. And if laundry piles up, it'll take a while to get it done. That's what sucks about it now. When I have to do laundry, there's just so much of it because I let it pile up. I know it's my fault, but still, it's annoying. So that's the first one. The next one is money. Money problems. All right? Debt. Bills. Think about those. If you're not careful, I had a good talk with my students about credit and the credit culture in Canada. How everything over here is on credit. When I first came to Canada, I didn't even have a credit card. I didn't have a credit score. I am planning to do an entire podcast episode about the credit culture in Canada because it is very interesting. But long story short, over here in Canada, you almost need a credit card and a credit score. If you want to get a loan, if you want to get a mortgage, if you want to rent a car even, you need a credit card. Now, a lot of people get credit cards, and the problem is the debt on a credit card or the interest will pile up pretty fast. A credit card is basically you spending money that you don't technically have. The idea is that you have the money in one bank account, you use your credit card, and you pay it off. However, if you don't pay it off in time, you get interest and you pay extra. Always pay off your credit card. Now, if you get a credit card and you don't stay on top of it, your spending can really pile up fast. You know, you can really find yourself tapping here, tapping there, tapping here, tapping there, and all of a sudden at the end of the month or something, you look at your credit card bill and you're thinking, holy smokes, what the hell did I do? How did all these expenses pile up? What did I do? And you go through it and you're like, oh, I remember that. I vaguely remember that. Okay, that was a stupid decision. And then you realize that your debt has just piled up. That's a sick feeling. That is not a nice feeling. I haven't used my credit card in quite a while because I did let it pile up for a while. And I'm afraid to let it pile up again. Because at the end of the month, you're left with a nasty bill. And then sometimes people are unable to pay it off. So if your credit card expenses keep piling up and they keep going up and up and up and up, well, you may need to pay interest. Now, another one that can pile up is bills. So very similar to the credit card. But think about all the different bills that you have. For me, I have car insurance. I have my phone. I have internet, so Wi-Fi. I have... What else do I have? I actually don't think I have that many overall. I don't have any streaming services. So I don't have Netflix, I don't have Crave or any of those. I do have Canva. So that's like a graphic design one. My wife uses that one too, so she's the main user of that, so we have that. And honestly, I don't think there's a lot of subscriptions I have for bills. But my main bills would be car insurance, rent, yada yada yada. Now, if you do not pay off your bills, we use the term pile up. Your bills are piling up. You know, it's a bit of a trope in some movies or something where there's a starving artist and, you know, you open the door and there's just a pile of bills in the door saying rent due or final notice or something. And if your bills do pile up and if you do not pay them, they will be sent to collections. And collections is usually a department in a huge organization that deals with getting debt back, or they will send it straight to a collector. And then the debt collector comes to your house because your bills piled up and you didn't pay. It's wise to pay your bills quickly. Now, I've read some other things too, but I personally like to pay them quickly, and I don't like bills to pile up. I remember when my credit card got hacked, it got compromised. My credit card got compromised. And someone was using it to buy skip the dishes food, skip the dishes orders. That's one of those websites where you can order food from a restaurant and someone delivers it to your house. Not the restaurant, a third party. In Ireland, they call it Just Eat. In Canada, it's Skip the Dishes. Uber Eats, I think, is one in some other places. We don't have that here yet. Not in my town. Where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Oh, yes. I'm an idiot. Credit card. And we're talking about my credit card and how it got compromised. So my credit card was compromised. And as a result of that, some of my auto payments didn't happen. My phone is an auto payment connected to my credit card, which meant my phone bill didn't go through. I got an email about it, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it because whenever I get a message or an email from my phone network, I don't generally care because it's usually an offer. But then 2 and 3 months went by and then I got a phone call and they were asking, hey Ronan, what's up? Why aren't you paying your bills? And I was shocked. I was like, what do you mean why am I paying my bill? Why haven't I paying my bills? I have been. And they're like, no, your credit card stopped working 2 or 3 months ago. So I log in. And I see that 3 months of bills had piled up. So all of a sudden, I had a large payment to make for 3 months instead of 1 month. Now, I know it was totally my own fault, and I know the money is the same. But when you get that surprise, it's not fun. So because my credit card was compromised, and because the auto payments were then affected with a new credit card, my phone bill piled up. My phone bills piled up. My electricity bills don't really pile up because they're connected to the bank account, for example. But you get it, folks. You get how bills can pile up and how debt can pile up. Another one where, just quickly, with debt and pile up, some people will get one credit card to pay off another credit card. And that's a terrible way of trying to solve it. And so they will pile up the debt on one card, get a new card, pile up the debt on that, so on, so forth. So please be careful and please look after your money, folks, and get some financial literacy. All right. The next two things that can pile up are complaints and problems. Complaints are problems. Let's just think about different complaints. Imagine you go to a terrible restaurant. Like, you go to this restaurant that you think is going to be good, but then you get there and it's a shit show. The food is not good. The food is cold. It's undercooked. It's overcooked. It's just wrong. The service is slow and sloppy. There's dust on the table. You can still see the stains on some of the cutlery, and you can see lipstick on the wine glass. You go into the bathroom and it's not clean at all. The toilets are clogged. There's not enough toilet roll. You go to use the tap and the water shoots everywhere. It's a pretty fucking annoying restaurant. Well, I'd say in a restaurant like that, the complaints are going to pile up quickly. Have you ever been anywhere where you could have said, wow, the complaints will be piling up with this place? Or it could even be used for a person. You know, the complaints against X are piling up. Lots of people around the country are complaining about this person. So similar with problems. Problems can pile up. Right now, the World Cup is on. Think about a soccer team and all the problems that could pile up for them. Players get injured. Players get suspended. Players are, players are having a beer in public and they get arrested, for example. Problems will pile up. So, complaints can pile up when something is going really, really, really bad. And then problems can pile up. And if they pile up, it means you're having difficulty getting ahead of it. Similar to the debt, similar to the bills. You're having difficulty controlling it. You're having difficulty managing the situation, managing the things that are piling up. Imagine you are working in a restaurant, in the service industry. I bet some of you have. And you know, you might be a server running around and all the customers are complaining and it's all piling up and there's nothing you can do. It's frustrating. So complaints and problems can really start to pile up. I'm living in Canada, so snow piles up. Tonight actually it's going to snow quite a lot, and we'll see how much we get. It might pile up, but if snow piles up, it just means that we keep getting more and more and more consistently. Work can pile up, or chores or tasks at work. So I don't know what field you're in, but in your field, do tasks normally pile up? And then you need to take some time to analyze the tasks and to prioritize the tasks. Maybe if you live in a house, like I live in a house, of course I live in an apartment, and the chores are piling up because I'm the only one here right now. So I need to do the dishes, I need to wash the floors, I need to take out the garbage, I need to do X, Y, and Z. So all the chores are piling up because I don't do them, because I'm here by myself, like I give a fuck. But if someone comes over, I'll have to do all the chores, and I've let all the chores pile up, so I'm not inviting anyone over. I'll do it before I go home for Christmas. You guys must think I'm a slob. So pile up is for more and more and more to come. Yeah, think about your job. Think about the tasks you have at work. Do they pile up? Think about all the different things you must do. If you're a student, your assignments will pile up. That's a big one for students. Like, I'm working in a college and I'm working with students who are, some of them are doing just English lessons and some of them are doing English lessons and they're doing an academic course in the college. And if they don't stay on top of their work, it'll pile up fast. It'll pile up so fucking quick. Whereby they will not have time to do anything. Imagine you have an essay due this Friday, an essay due next Tuesday, an essay due the following Friday. 3 essays in a week. They're really piling up. You feel like you are being smothered by them. Pileup is wonderful, isn't it? There's so many meanings and so many different collocations for it. And I'm sure we're just like scratching the surface right now. Maybe problems for your government continue to pile up. That's a common way we would use it. Or problems for this company are piling up. Can you think of a company that right now the problems for this company are absolutely piling up? Can you think of a government? I can think of many governments, but can you think of a government whose problems are piling up day after day after day? All right, we're going to move on. And similar to pile up is add up. All right, so we'll start with bills. My bills are adding up. I need to find a way to reduce them. Can you imagine your bills are all adding up to a little bit too much money? Your Wi-Fi, your internet, your phone, your car, your Wi-Fi, your internet, your Wi-Fi, which is your internet, your phone, your car insurance, your health insurance, your electricity bill, your hydro bill if you pay for water. You need to think about your gas bill for your car. How much do you spend on food each month? You know, when you calculate all those bills, where can you save money? When all those bills are adding up, where can you save money? You know, maybe if you don't buy cocaine this week and you switch to a cheaper drug, you can save some money there. Because your drug habit is adding up to quite a substantial amount of money. It's always about the drugs. So my bills are adding up. I need to find a way to reduce them. How could you reduce your bills? What could you do that would significantly reduce your bills? Is there anything you could cut back on that would prevent your bills from adding up? The reason I cancelled Netflix, Spotify, or any of those streaming services, they add up. You know, it's great when you have one. It's fine when you have just Netflix and you're paying, whatever, $15, $12 a month. But then you get Spotify. And then, you know, you don't have enough, so you need to get Disney Plus. Oh, but if you have that, you kind of want to watch some HBO, so you may as well get Crave or just go straight to HBO. But then talk about the sports. Can we just like get another sports subscription, please? And telling you, it doesn't take long before all these subscriptions add up. I'd love to know, with everyone here, whoever listens to it, what subscriptions do you have? It's something I've noticed in the last couple of years. Everything is becoming subscription service. For example, BMW. They are just a prime example of gouging. But in the UK, all the cars, all the BMWs have heated seats. But if you want to activate the heated seat, you need a subscription. So you buy this car, you have the hardware in the car, but you are unable to use it until you get a subscription. That's a prime example of how bills can add up. Now, I'm sure if you have a BMW, you're not worried about paying for a subscription, but it is a dangerous trend, I think. It is a scary trend. You know, it's the start of something horrible, where I just feel that in the future, everything we have will be on subscription. But right now, how many subscriptions do you have? What do they add up to? If you had to sacrifice some of those subscriptions because they're adding up to too much, which ones would you sacrifice? If your food bill is adding up, where do you save money? I looked at my bills recently for the summer and going out to pubs and restaurants and stuff, and obviously in the summer I would go out more. It's beautiful here. It's sunny weather. You just want to go out and have a beer in the patio. It's amazing. But I looked at it and I was like, fuck, Ronan, those beers add up. Have you ever been in a situation where you're in a bar and, okay, this happens in Canada more. When I first moved to Canada, I would go to a bar, so I'm in a bar, and it's table service. It's not bar service. So you sit at a table and people bring the drinks to you, which I'm not a fan of. I'll talk about that another time. But you don't realize how much you're drinking because you can pound them back pretty quick. And because you don't need to stand up, you don't get you don't notice how much you've had, or you don't notice how drunk you get. And then the server comes around at the bill later on and you look at it and that's when you're like, fuck, that really added up to a lot of money. You might turn to your friend and say, whoa, those beers added up all right, didn't they? God, I hate it. It's why I don't go to bars anymore. It has been about 3 weeks, I think, since I went into a bar, and that was for my friend's birthday, and it wasn't even a real bar. Before that, it was probably another 2, so it's been quite a while, which is good. I'm feeling good without it. And I must say, not drinking alcohol has saved me a lot of money, because alcohol adds up. You know, you might not think it at the time when you buy a bottle here, you buy something there, but at the end of the month, if you add it up, you can just say, God damn it, alcohol adds up. So that's kind of related to bills and stuff, how they can really start to add up. So think about subscriptions, think about the bills that you pay, your general bills. Think about recreational activities that add up. What do you spend money on for recreation? Is it coffee? Is it weed? Is it beer? Is it going to concerts? Is it going to art galleries? Does it add up? I used to take the bus to work and take the bus home. It's $5 a day. So that's $25 a week. That's pretty expensive. When you really think about it, $25 a week for going to and from my job. What's the point? That adds up a lot. After a month, that's a substantial amount of money. Now I walk. It's actually only like 15 or 20 minutes. I don't even know why I ever took the bus. But taking the bus to and from work really added up. I saved myself a bit of bob. So, have you ever gone on a holiday and thought about how everything added up? You go on holidays, you get a hotel room, you rent a car, you eat out, you get a prostitute or something, go to a strip club, go shopping, stuff like that. It really adds up. All right, Christmas is coming. Purchases are going to add up. You know, maybe not this year because Black Friday just happened and consumer spending has fallen dramatically in Canada. So maybe this year Christmas shopping will not add up. Consumer spending has really slowed in the last couple of months in Canada. I recently caught up with a friend of mine who lives in Toronto, and he was also telling me how the food prices in Toronto are just getting out of hand. Everything is adding up to too much. I have no idea where you live, but where you're living is everything more expensive. I know that, like, in Europe, fuel is a lot more expensive. Food prices have gone up a certain amount. And in Canada, it's the exact same. Gas, not so much. Fuel hasn't changed much, I think. But food prices are gone through the roof. The crazy thing is, and the one thing that really pisses me off and many others, is that these big food companies like Loblaws, who are a popular one in Canada and they own many other grocery stores, they have record profits this year. So despite the fact that my food bill and purchases are adding up to crazy amounts of money this year compared to others, they have record profits. And that's kind of sickening. So the reason why our food prices have gone up is because they just want to make more money and have more profits. It's a bit sickening. So purchases at Christmas usually add up, and if they're going to add up, start saving now. So there are all the like financial ways of using it. Another good one is for how something can affect you. Alcohol. Oh, my favorite. Second favorite. Marijuana, weed, Mary Jane. Yes. All of those can add up. I mentioned sitting at a table in Canada, drinking beer, not standing up a lot, and then suddenly you stand up and you realize, whoa, I'm drunk. Well, if you're not careful, alcohol can add up and you will get shit-faced very quickly. There's been times when I have had like 2 or 3 beers in very quick succession and it doesn't affect me too much. But if I were to have 2 or 3 shots of whiskey or tequila, they would add up pretty quickly. And they would probably get me shit-faced pretty quick. So if a drink adds up, you need to be careful with it because you'll get shit-faced. So just imagine you see your friend pounding back the shots or pounding back the beers or pounding back the White Claws or whatever it is. You can just say, hold up there, buddy. Those drinks are going to add up soon. It's early. Hey, buddy, be careful. Those drinks will add up. It's only 2 p.m. Hey, Ronan, those drinks are going to add up. It's 9 a.m. Slow down. Share. Sharing is caring. Let me have a look at my notes. I don't think there's many other meanings I have for add up, but go back, listen to those, and let me know. And the last one, which won't take very long, is build up. So different collocations with build up. And to build up is quite different to pile up and quite different to add up. I need your help. I need some advice on how to build up savings. Because I got sweet F all. To build up savings. To gradually increase savings. I built up my savings over the last 3 years, but one car accident wiped them all out. Isn't that sickening? That happens to a lot of people. And you can build up your savings as much as you want, but unless you got good health insurance, unless you're living in Canada, your savings that you built up over X amount of time could be wiped out in a moment. It's horrible. It's one of the main reasons I would not live in the US is the medical system there is just crazy. What's it like in your country? Would your savings that you built up over a couple of years be threatened if you got into an accident? Or is there adequate public health care? Or do you have private health insurance that your savings that you built up wouldn't be affected? How long have you built up your current savings? Savings, what are those? Says many of you and me. You can build up defense. Many different types of defense. Coastal defense, environmental defense, country, national defense. Think about coastal defense. I'm from the coast. And every year, or any time I go back home, or when I was a child, you'd notice the ocean taking away bits of land. So you have to try and defend it. You have to try and build some coastal defenses from erosion. In wartime, you build up coastal defenses by putting stuff in the water off the shore or building more towers to look out, just so you can monitor the coast. So to build up means that you start investing money in the program that will create them. You start putting them here and there, and after a while, there's a lot. It's not overnight, but you're trying to build it up. You're really trying to get it going in a cycle almost, where it's consistently getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Traffic can build up, which is quite infuriating. It takes just one accident and traffic will build up fast. I live in a town called Kelowna, and there's like one bridge connecting us to Vancouver. There's one bridge that will, if that bridge were not there, the drive to Vancouver could easily be 2 hours longer. So that's ridiculous. Just think about that. So if there is one accident on that bridge, traffic builds up so fast. Traffic just builds up and you'll have like mile-long tailbacks in no time. So I know that I said, build up is over time. Well, sometimes traffic builds up fast on this stretch of road. In your city, is there an area where traffic builds up fast? Is there an area where you want to avoid at 5 p.m. because you know between 4:45 and 5 p.m. the traffic starts to build up, and at 5 p.m. it is chock-a-block. Wealth can also be built up. Wealth can be built up by a billionaire who starts buying more companies. Wealth can be built up by someone who works very hard. He built his wealth up with stocks. She built her wealth up by investing in the right company at the right time. He built his wealth up over the course of 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. He built up an empire. Infrastructure can be built up. Is there anywhere in your town that you would like to see be built up a little bit? I can tell you 3 or 4 places in the town I'm living in. I can tell you some places back at home that I would love to see people build up. I would love to see people improve them. I would love to see people invest money in these areas and get some proper infrastructure there. The town I'm living in, Kelowna, has been really built up over the last couple of years. There's a whole different meaning. This just means that if I say the town has been built up, it was smaller. But in the last 5 years, this town has gotten huge. There is so many more shops, so many more people living here, so many more high rises, so many more breweries. It's kind of ridiculous how many breweries there are. My parents came to visit recently, and they noticed how much this town has built up. They were here 5 years ago or 6 years ago, and it was a very different experience. Parts of this town are unrecognizable because they've been built up. It's crazy to see the difference in this one particular town. So in your town, has it been built up? Does it need to be built up? When was it built up? Was it built up in the 80s and it's still thriving? Or was it built up in the 80s and then it crumbled? Some good questions for you there. Weather can build up, folks. Weather. A storm. You know, a storm might roll in quickly, but you could say that's been building up for a few days. Snow has been building up where I am. You know, for the last 4 or 5 days, the temperature has been getting colder, gradually getting colder, and the likelihood of snow has been building up, where now it's at 90%. So I think tomorrow morning I'm going to open the curtains and be like, shit, it snowed last night. So the weather has been building up for quite a while. The storm has been building up for quite a while. Conflict can build up for quite a while. Tension can build up, and fear can build up. Have you seen a movie where the director did a great job at building up the tension? Where the director and the cast and all the workers did a wonderful job in building up the fear of the movie? Off the top of my head, I can't think of too many movies that have built up tension, but I know there are so many out there. I'm drawing a blank right now. As soon as I stop recording, I will remember some movies that are just so goddamn tense. Oh, Jordan Peele. Watch some of his movies. Watch Get Out. Now there's a tense movie. They really build up the tension in that one. Alfred Hitchcock. Great American director. 90% sure he's American. And he was known for building up suspense in his movies. He was like the master of suspense. He was one of the first huge names in terms of suspense movies. And he was just known to be a great director at building up fear and building up suspense. A bit of pop culture for you there. So, folks, I think I'm going to call it right there. The first one was Pileup, the second one is upAdd, and the third one is build up. I hope you found it useful. I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. And that, everybody, is that. My name's Ronan. This is the Little Seal English Podcast. Please pass this podcast on to a friend who's learning English. Please do my survey. The link is in the description. And yeah, I just hope you are happy. I hope you're healthy. I hope you're having a good one. And stay tuned for more podcasts coming soon. Do the survey. Thank you.